And to me, this is probably one of the coolest things, in the fact that people can build a business like this from the comfort of their home, or, from their device, whatever they might be using, however you're viewing this, and all over the world. And I've been in the direct selling networking industry myself for about 23 years full time. I was in the bar business. I was actually, they call it the hospitality business to sound good, but I was a bouncer and I was a bartender way back when. And someone introduced me to a home business, and I thought, man, if I can make a few $100s a month to offset maybe one of my car payments, or just, I wouldn't have to work so many hours. That was literally all I was looking for. I didn't have any business background. I barely graduated high school. I never went to college, things like that. And I did not know that it was going to be what we would call a profession. Profession, the difference between an amateur and a professional is amateurs basically do it for the entertainment value of it. Professionals make money. So I actually got to the point to where it was profitable. And as they had said, as Darlene and Mick had mentioned, I've actually done very well over this period of time. I've earned millions of dollars over these periods of years. I'm married to the same woman that I met in the bar business, actually. Next year will be our 25th anniversary, but we've been married for 24 years. I've raised 3 kids on this type of income. I live in a nice neighborhood, a nice house, that kind of thing. So it's been really amazing that it's more than, they did mention that it's not necessarily about the money, which to me it is about the money, because it was more about the ability to take that money and create the lifestyle with it. Okay. So I do things from a business perspective now, compared to just, hey, this is fun, because I understand what the extra money, or, a lot of money can do freedom wise. And the one thing that got me to really dive into to learn this industry was a gentleman that was a friend of mine, that he was a 7-figure earner as well. As he always had this one saying when he would speak that he would end his talks with. He said, there's a significant difference between making a living and having a life. There's a significant difference between making a living and having a life. And it was one of them, if you really dissect that, it's the most powerful thing, the way he said it. And if you start to think about it, because I'm a family guy. Now I'm not when it comes to money, a lot of people, they think that the money's all about the fast cars, the big houses, the things like that. To me, it all came down to providing for my family with, 3 kids coming out of when I finally had my first child. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for this kid, and then that's what happened. So it was something. So if you look at this, because there's lots of businesses out there that you can do, there's lots of ways to earn income. I mean, it's just pretty much unlimited the ways you can do that. You can get extra jobs, you can work extra hours, you can, there's other companies in this type of space. But I think what's nice and what I can probably bring to the table, as I'm going to jump into, is to show you a very simple model that's working for thousands and thousands of people now, but it was created by people who have earned extraordinary amounts of money, that have a track record of success, and they've done very well. And they're bringing all that expertise into something they, like they mentioned before, like Darlene and Mick mentioned, we're just different. And I'm to the point of my career in the industry as a professional in this industry that you can't get me signed up with hype. You can't get me signed up with, it may happen, it might this be, that kind of stuff. Is I look at data, I make data-driven decisions. I look at facts, I look at backgrounds of people. I have an internet background of 11 years that allows me to look deeper into things that most people would never think of. So I know that was that's probably one of my longest introductions.
That's okay.
That I've ever done. But I think it brings a little more credibility to the fact that what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the presentation fairly short. And I'm just going to ask you questions if you're watching this for the first time, or maybe you're watching this again, as to, most people, when they look at businesses like this, they ask themselves 2 questions. Is it worth doing? Is it worth doing? And can I do it? Is it worth doing? And can I do it? And I think if I can answer that question for you, then I think that you're going to see that this is something very significant. So do I have controls for the PowerPoint?
You absolutely do.
Looks like I do. Okay, great. So I'm gonna pull up the presentation real quick. Let me go full screen. Should be good to go. Okay, and so first off, since I'm going to be talking a little bit about income here, or the potential to earn income, I do have a disclaimer. I think it's important this way. And there's nothing, in my opinion, I think it's extremely important that any legitimate company gives you a disclaimer right out of the gate so that you don't have a false expectation, misconceived, things of what your results are going to be. This is a business, and you will have to treat it as such if you want business type money to come in. If you want hobby type money coming in, then you can just treat it like a hobby. But from a disclaimer standpoint is we don't make any guarantees about your ability to income or so on. But I will tell you this, that we have created, and the company has created, and the team has created an environment that will help you win, to give you a significant advantage of building this thing, okay? So I need to just shrink a couple things so I can actually see the slides. Okay. Here's the cool thing. It's time for you to take control, time to earn more money, and it's time to start a home business. I did not know what a home business was originally years and years and years ago. Really, there's a misconception about home businesses. A lot of people see the majority of people that get into these things and they don't treat it like a business. So they make a couple dollars here and there, and it doesn't seem like it's got any big potential. If you, like I said before, if you take this seriously and you apply yourself, it can be a legitimate business. Like I've built businesses before that are bigger than some corporations that you would know from the sales, the volume, the things that happen in our organization, in the team, the overall sales, that literally rival multi-million-dollar companies that you'd be aware of. Okay, so that's what's kind of cool here. Their mission is they want to do something that's just different. I think you'll see this hashtag all over our stuff. Is they're creating a 5-star lifestyle at 3-star prices. Now this slide is really cool because most of us are familiar with home businesses and stuff, where customers typically pay more money for products that are more expensive than you would normally find them at stores or on Amazon specifically, to justify paying commissions and make money. Okay, even though some of those products are very good. With ours, it's completely different because we're taking people on the far right. You can see that on see my mouse. You're making money when people save money. This is a completely different paradigm shift. The old way of doing direct selling and networking is kind of like Blockbuster. Blockbuster worked for many, many years and was very successful. That's the DVD, company that, used to walk into and look at DVDs to rent them. But we're now in a Netflix world. We have new technologies that allow us to advance our business model much, much quicker. The vision behind this started with Holton Buggs, who was just like any one of us listening to this right now, where he had actually, and when he joined the industry in 1990, he was making less than $500 a month for his first 7 years in the industry. He went on, and you can check this out. You can look up these statistics as I give them to you so that that you get, accurate information if you'd like, but I'll just kind of regurgitate some of this. Is Holton Buggs earned over $110 million in personal earnings commissions in a 10-year span in his last company, which is actually the largest amount anyone's ever single-handedly earned that was not a corporate person. Okay, this was as a person who was a distributor. He built his organization worldwide, so he has experience there. He had over 3 million people that had participated in his team. And they did that for many, many years. And believe it or not, he actually still gets checks from that company, even though he owns this. He has a good relationship with the owners of that previous company, which is nice. Collectively, and this is the important part right here. So enough about Holton, but right here is he also has helped over 45 million people that are in his circle of influence, kind of, to earn millions of dollars in the profession, which is cool. And then collectively, he brought this team of people that he had friendships and relationships with over to our company to bring them something significant, which was what we call now iBuumerang. And again, just because I didn't mention this earlier, is iBuumerang is officially less than a year old. Our birthday of officially launching was September 1st of 2019. So you're seeing this fairly early, okay? So they're creating something very simple. Now, the power of what we're doing here, and this is really the big picture. This is everything really should relate to the or revolve around this slide. It's called the PRIB. And the PRIB stands for Perpetual Residual Income Builder. Now, when I first got introduced to this industry, when I heard the word residual, I'd never heard it before. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it meant. Like I said, I didn't have any business background. I called my dad up after I'd seen my first presentation in 1997. And I said, Dad, there's this company that's out there and they're paying this thing called residential income. And he kind of chuckled and he goes, do you mean residual? I go, I think they got that too. And he goes, do you even know what residual means? I said, no. He says, residual basically means you do some work today. You continue to get paid again and again and again on that work, where most of us work in professions that we have to, work and we trade hours for dollars to do that, okay? Now, the PRIB, what it really means is if you were to consider starting a business, and I'll just walk you through these quickly. If you were starting a business in traditional businesses, when you're looking for gathering customers, because that's kind of the name of the game, obviously, in any business, is in a traditional business, you would be in charge of follow-up selling, upselling, cross-selling, training teams, employees and all that stuff in a regular traditional business. In a direct sales business, they typically, you would have to be involved in all these same things, except for maybe these. Franchises, such as buying a Subway franchise or McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell franchise, they do have a lot of these systems in place. But what we have for a very, very low dollar amount for somebody to engage with our company and start a business, the PRIB does all of this pretty much hands off that most of these businesses do not bring to the table, okay? Now, what it is simply this, okay? So let me just slow down for a moment because I do talk fast, I know that. Is what we are doing is this is a customer acquisition business that we are introducing people to a free technology that helps us to acquire customers so that we can offer them different services or potentially down the road products, depending on different countries and things like that, that you and I will be able to make money off of. Okay, it's not hard to figure out that that's the name of the game of business is you find customers and you get them something to purchase, all right? Now, what we do, what your main thing, back to what I said is, can you do, is this worth doing and can you do it? Is this, is we offer a free travel technology portal, okay? That we give people codes, activation codes, that they create a free membership with our travel platform right here. And they can go in and they can shop and look for any of the services they would normally find on any major travel platforms, such as like Travelocity, hotels.com, rental.com, kayak.com, stuff like that. And by doing that, they've now actually entered the PRIB ecosystem, I guess you could say, okay? And we'll go into that. Now, why did they choose travel as the flagship? Well, a few reasons. The number one is it's one of the largest, if not the largest industry on the planet, being an $8 trillion industry, and you and I cannot possibly comprehend how big that is. I live in the United States, and that means that they book over 2 billion, almost $3 billion per day of some type of travel is being done. Most of it is being monopolized, though, by a handful of companies, okay? Now, what the difference is why this works for our model so significantly is that we are offering people service, the same inventory that they could normally find on any of these other sites, except since we do not have to spend millions and millions of dollars to acquire our customers, whereas these companies you're looking on this page do, is we can offer our services, our inventory much cheaper, which then if they save money, they pass on part of that savings as commissions to you and I for basically the referral of that customer. So how it simply works is this, is let's say you have a friend, and I want you to just focus in the top left corner for a second. You have a friend named Lisa who wanted to go to New York City and she needed a hotel to find, and you said, Lisa, I don't know if I can help you or not, but here's a code to activate a free membership where you're going to get to be able to look at just like all the other stuff and do an apples to apples comparison. So she goes on there and she looks on our iGo platform. That's the name of our platform. specifically, iGo platform for a hotel. She then cross-references it, apples to apples comparison with Expedia, and sees that Expedia has the same nights, same days, and so on for $339, but we're only charging with our platform $178. That means Lisa saved $161. Lisa did not have to spend any money to become a customer, and she does not have to spend any money to use this platform. Now, what is nice is our company would not have that customer. Lisa would not be part of this company without your referral. So if you referred Lisa, of this $161 in savings, the company will pay you 50% of that as a commission. So you make 50% of that as a commission, which means you've just done nothing more than referred something that somebody was already planning on using. And now you're going to make money off of that every single time, every person you have. And we have these, and I'm not going in for every single one of them, but we have rental cars, and you can see some of these like this down here. These are screenshots of when a customer actually does transact with us. They get an email that says, hey, you saved this, or you got reward points and reward credits. And the reward credits, by the way, are just like everything else. You can use those towards more travel. You can use those towards other things as well. But look at these savings down here. Picture yourself, every time you referred one, getting 50% of that. So that's what's nice. And we are not just limited to hotels. We have hotels, rental cars, cruises, flights, homes, weeks, marketplace, timeshares. And like I said, all of these other things down here are extra things that our platform offers, okay? So what we're doing is we are giving something away to somebody for free, allowing them to have a good experience, 5-star experience for basically 3-star pricing. And the play on words, the name of our company is what do you do? Well, iBuumerang. Well, what the heck does that mean? I throw out savings and money comes back in, okay? Now, how we acquire these customers is why it's so easy for people to do this business. There's a few things that you can do. You can actually go into your back office. You have some what they call codes. We call those boomerangs. Okay, so if you hear me reference codes, it's the same as a boomerang. If that comes up, they just named them boomerangs. You generate a code. You can send it via email. You can send it text. And once they get it, they just activate that code. They create a private account by just putting in their name, phone number, and email. And then they have full capabilities to shop online on our platform for life. You only have to do this one time. And that customer is yours for life, which is another important factor, is no one else, once that customer's taken, no one else can get it. And what happens is they just get the code, they activate it, and now every time they go on and book something and save, you get paid, okay? Now this is another perfect example right here, there's 2 ways to look at this platform for savings, okay? We're just gonna talk about this before I talk more about money. If you decide, hey, I want to do this as a business, I want to be an affiliate, I want to refer this to people because this just makes sense, you can become an ambassador. And you and I, because I'm an ambassador obviously as well, we save more money on our own travel because they don't have to necessarily pay out the referral on it. There is part of that does go to people who have referred travel savings ambassadors. But right here, this example, a customer is going to still save significantly, but they just basically take some of that savings, and that's how they give it, because you will be the marketing arm for our company. And how is this working? Let's ask that question real quick. How many customers have we acquired in just over a year from the time we've pre-launched? Over 800,000 people have set up accounts to be customers with our platform already, which is unheard of, okay, to have that. And we are exponentially growing because of it. Now, let's go back to the PRIB at the very beginning where I talked about this. What's really cool is we're introducing to people, because the travel space is very easy to talk about. It's something that's fun to talk about. It's comfortable for people to have conversations about travel. You know, everybody does want to travel. And once they've become part of the platform, like I said, they're introduced to the PRIB, where now our company is starting to roll out other services that every time your customers that you've referred use any of these services, because those customers wouldn't exist if you wouldn't have got them in first, you make money off of that. And our first other vertical that came out besides travel was we now own our own rideshare company called Vibe, okay, which is real important. Vibe is a drive share company similar to the other companies that you would be familiar with, that you would just go on your device, you go on your phone, you look, say, hey, I need a trip from the airport to go from here to there, and you book one of those things. Okay, so we're getting that. This is our Vibe currently is in a few markets. I don't think some of your markets right now overseas are open. However, this is going to be more than just taking a person from point A to point B. They are also going to do similar things like they do food delivery, service delivery, and things like that, which is because companies need this. And more people are using this specific model right now, especially with what's going on globally, to get their services, get their food, get their groceries, get things like this delivered to them. And we are now part of this. Now, here's where the money comes in for you and I participating, or why when they rolled this out, we have this. Okay, so let's say somebody sees this presentation and says, I don't want to refer travel, but I want to be a driver. They actually can. Somebody could become a driver with us, and I'll show you the slide specifically on that. But here's the thing, a person couldn't be a driver unless you or I referred them to be a driver, which is what this means right here. But because we wouldn't have, our company would not have that driver without your referral, they pay you every single time that driver gives a drive or a ride, right? Same thing over here. We wouldn't have customers without our referrals. So you actually have the ability to earn when somebody drives and when customers ride. So a driver, if they just wanted to be a driver, they have the ability to earn up to 75% on the distance of the time charges and so on, which is extremely competitive compared to the other rideshare companies. If you referred drivers yourself, okay, so if this was you and you referred 10 drivers, and let's say they were full-time drivers, averaging total fares of $50,000 a year, that means that they've done over $500,000 a year in drives, okay, or rides. That means that if you make, which is what our referral or affiliate commission is 3% of that, without you doing anything different besides referring something that somebody was already probably doing, you would have earned $15,000 in additional income that year. Okay. Now, in addition to that, the other part of it was these riders will find out. Just like if you look at the other rideshare companies out there, they were all created through referrals. People would talk about it and say, well, what are you doing on your phone? That's not a taxi cab. What is that? And by word of mouth, it started to replicate and go faster and faster. And if you and I could have had the ability to do this model way back when, a few years ago, when no one had heard of these companies, we all could have been making a ton of money passive residual income, because we just referred people to download an app on their phone. This scenario right here shows that if you referred 10 riders who referred 5, that's the total of riders of 310. And let's say per month, they only did $50 in rides. And a lot of these people do that almost weekly or daily, because a lot of people in big cities don't even have vehicles. They just do this type of thing on a regular basis. You would have participated or earned an additional $5,500 a year above and beyond if you referred drivers and so on, because riders are now being incentivized to refer other riders, which is cool. So that's kind of the whole model. So think about that. We have the ability to refer people to use travel, and we have the ability to earn on drivers. So perfect example, real quick, since we kind of covered this, is the customer acquisition model is simply this. If you refer people to get on our travel platform, the iGo platform, if they average just $600 a year in savings, that's $6,000 in savings you would have acquired for just 10 customers. That means that you would put an additional $3,000 in your income bottom line every year in addition to that. I mean, these days you do have to do quite a bit of work to earn income of this magnitude. Okay. And what would happen if you built a team of people? Okay. So kind of switching over. So from a customer standpoint, I'm going to go back. So from a customer standpoint, you can earn money on just acquiring customers. You can earn money just on acquiring drivers. Okay. If you never want to do this part of it, you don't have to, but I would highly recommend this, because the power of our model is in the fact that it gives you the ability to be leveraged. I never understood leverage until I got into the networking direct selling space, because some of the wealthiest people in the world are as wealthy as they are because they have their money at work or more people at work underneath of them, and they get a little bit off of this. Okay. So what we have is we have the ability to earn money on stuff that we personally sell, or refer. But we also have the ability, if you refer people to this business model, because they're going to bring a customer base. So if this was you and you referred this person, and let's say Lisa used the platform and saved money, but then she says, man, I can think of 10 people that I could refer this to. And she participated as a TSA and then got enrolled as a TSA, and she had a handful of customers, you would earn money off of those customers that she acquired, even though you didn't do anything besides refer Lisa to this model where she watched this presentation. And you can have an unlimited amount of people on your team. And obviously that can equate to an unlimited amount of customers that's going to continually grow and grow and grow. So how did somebody get started? It's very simply this. Everybody has the ability to get started, get their foot in the door with our company for $49.95. And they get a customer site, so you can actually go on and book your own travel. You get the boomerangs, which are the codes. You get 5 of them for $49. You get travel savings bonuses, referral. And I didn't even mention one of our systems in place is called the iDecide. It's a phone system, or I'm sorry, it's not necessarily a phone. You can watch it on your phone or on your computer. That it's an interactive presentation that walks a person to being either a customer or a TSA by just asking them questions. It's all automated and so on. And we have a very, very good back office that tracks everything. So you don't have to worry about who your customers are, what they're booking and so on. And you can see those as commissions. Last kind of slide for this, and then we'll kick it back to Mick and Darlene as I close. Is I would recommend that in addition to the 49 to get started, you do choose one of these membership packs, because there's a 250, a 500, and 1,000, and the different benefits. You can kind of see those on here. The more green, the better it is, obviously. What this means is you have more personal benefits from your own travel based on higher packages. Okay. But the big things that I do point out, I think are really significant, is for these bigger packages, you get more of the codes, the more boomerangs that you get. Most of us that really do want to do this as a business, and make more money, we obviously choose the bigger package so we can have more codes. You may want to just try this out and you're only comfortable with this, then that's fine as well. Nobody can fault you at whatever. You're going to make your own business decisions. And I'm not a hard closer to sell you on anything, but I do recommend it for the best bang for your buck. That's a savings we have in the United States, in case you're not familiar with it, meaning that you get more codes as well as you get a higher commission in the team referrals on these packages for the 20%. So ultimately, again, if you go out and do this business, you have the ability to earn income based on your own work ethic and so on. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let me just throw out these things real quick, and then I'll kick it back over. And if Mick and Darlene, and then I'll hand it to you and you can do whatever you want from this point, but I'm going to leave you with 5 quick points. Okay. These are, because I say I don't close anybody, and I don't, but I think that these 5 reference points will give you a better understanding as to why you should make a decision to join our business. Okay. First and foremost, Holton Buggs. Holton Buggs, like I said earlier in that one slide, is the single largest income earner in the history of this profession. He brings a lot to the table that we could never think of, that allows people to partner with him, where he's created an environment for people to succeed. Number 2, our industry. We are in the 2 biggest professions or spaces out there. Travel is enormous, and there's so much money in it. And as all this kind of lockdown craziness starts to subside, which I think is going to be quicker than instead of later, you're going to see that it's going to rapidly expand. People that have been locked up are going to be traveling like crazy. And you and I are going to have a windfall, a huge amount of potential there for travel. With our company, number 3 is the timing of this. everybody knows that timing is very important. And you and I are looking at this, or you're looking at this for the first time, very early on in this business model. Being almost a year old, we have over 50,000 people worldwide signed up as TSAs and 170 countries that have acquired over 800,000 customers in that short period of time. You do not want to be looking at this again, brand new, a year or 2 years from now, wishing you would have participated in this growth that we have. Fourth thing that I talk about is systems. Like I said earlier, that most people are looking at this and say, is it worth doing and can I do it? I believe that if you look at what I just showed you, yes, it's worth doing. There is a significant difference between making a living and having a life. And there are multiple ways to earn extra income out there, but I don't think you're going to see anything as simple as this for the time, effort, and things, and the reward that you have the ability to get on here. Okay. But it's systems in place. We have great systems in place with the company, with all the trainings that they put out with the team and so on. And then the last thing is kind of a combination I always talk about is the last thing of the 5 is C. It stands for C's, community and culture. Okay. Community is the people, culture is how we do it. Back to creating an environment for people to win. We have a lot of fun with this thing. Okay. We have a lot of fun with this thing. We have great Facebook groups that you can become part of. So you can do this online. We do Zooms. Obviously you're seeing this. We have the company does daily presentations. They do daily trainings. They do daily incentive calls. They're constantly putting out things. So collectively we're doing this. And more importantly is you guys from a team community standpoint, with Mick and Darlene and the rest of the team that they've already, been launching and they've gotten going and stuff like that. You guys are really in the right place because you have rock stars that are out there working this thing, that already have established credibility, influence, things like that, that can help you and point you in the right direction. I've created a lot of stuff myself that's automated, which is awesome. The people, so Mick and Darlene got in. They got in because of somebody I got in, and then Tommy Johnson got me in, and then his sponsor is, I think, maybe the #1 money earner, at least, or if not close. That would be Jose Luis. And then the guy that got him in is Edwin Haynes, who's the global master ambassador of this company. So you're connected with the right group of people who bring the right things to the table. And why that's important is it allows you to just do some basic things, learn how to be brilliant in the basics, not complicate this thing, follow the lead of what some of us have already done that have experience in this industry, how we can point you in the right direction to create that lifestyle that you've been dreaming of. Or at least if you don't want to go out there and make tremendous amounts of money, at least to offset what you would be, maybe struggling to do right now, to get that car payment taken care of, to get that mortgage payment or that rent payment taken care of, or to provide some extra stuff for your family, your kids, your spouse, parents, things like that. And I think that's what's making this so exciting to be a part of. So anyhow, have you ever heard anybody talk so fast? Mick and Darlene, I'll pass it back to you guys. I can see now if I got my glasses on. Everybody's kind of blurry without them.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. That was, definitely, you brought up some points that even we didn't bring up. I was like, oh, that was a good point, so thank you for sharing your perspective on this. That was amazing.
And so fast too. That was phenomenal. You blew through it. And I love, you made a lot of great points. And that's one of the things that I did when I looked into this. I thought, if I'm going to dive in, I need to know who I'm connected with, who the upline is. And I do believe we have the best team for sure. As Mike mentioned, he's the digital whiz. We've got so many systems with the company, but then we've got Mike, who adds other ways to automate, whether it be, looking for people who want to do the business with you or acquiring customers. We can even acquire customers when we're not even in those markets. Drivers, rather. We can acquire drivers when we're not even in those markets, and the systems in place to do that. So again, guys,
I apologize for interrupting, but I just remembered. I want to do a selfie so people can see we were.
All right.
There we go. Okay, I'm done being dorky now.
Oh,
Remember, Mike's a digital guy, so everything is all about the digital space.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, make sure you send a copy of this presentation to me.
Yes,
I will, for sure. Yeah,
so I can So I posted on my YouTube channel.
Thanks for that, Mike. And Mike did talk about the fact that our official launch was September of last year, but the pre-launch was March. And one thing I didn't point out is that we were the #1 fastest growing home-based business globally in 2019. So think of that. Most of that was in pre-launch. So 9 months of 2019, we became the #1 fastest growing home-based business. That in itself is quite a feat. And the beauty of that as well is that this year, April, May, June, were our biggest months in the midst of this pandemic. So, I mean, that tells you a lot as well with where we're going. The next few months, we're going to be launching new products and services, as Mike mentioned. And it's also been said that we're going into Mexico. We're going to go into the UK, where I'm from, so I'm looking forward to that. And that's as far as Vibe Rides goes. So we're going to be global with Vibe Rides too. We've got a convention coming up, and we're just really excited with what this company has to offer. And it's about time that the industry got disrupted. And networking's been disrupted, travel's been disrupted, rideshare or drive share, that we've coined that phrase as well, is being disrupted. And whatever other services that come into iBuumerang, we can disrupt that as well, because we are #just different. It's as simple as that. All right, guys, so I want to thank each and every one of you for actually showing up today to support Prachi and anyone else who's on this call. Let me just see if there's any questions here in the chat.
Right, so while he's doing that, I just wanted to make sure that Prachi and Mike got connected. So Mike, Prachi is our newest ambassador. Her and her husband, we just signed them up a couple of days ago. So we launched her last night, our time, with Tommy. And then she's got people on the other side of the world, which is why you're here with us. So we appreciate that. So Prachi is going to be one of our global ambassadors that is literally bringing people in from east to west, right, Prachi?
Yeah, it's incredible. I love that. I've never been with a company where we can go global so fast. I mean, like Mike said, we're in over 180 countries already. This company, we're ground floor pretty much. I mean, when's the best time to get on a plane? When it's on the ground or when it's in the air? I mean, we're on the ground and the engines aren't even turned on. You know, that's the beauty of where we're at. And I've actually been in that space before. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
You know what's, like I said, I've been in this profession of networking for 23 years, which is hard for me to comprehend, which is like my daughter just turned 23. Right. I mean, they've never not known me doing this. And this is the first opportunity that I've been in where I've had people all over the world in my organization. You know, I've heard about it before and I've always dreamt about it, but some of the opportunities, even though I was in companies that did it, I've never really had it exponentially grow like that. A lot of it was based on me just doing like home meetings. You know, right. And I built this local, there was one company I did where I earned I think $1.5 million US dollars in a 4-year period. And all I did was home meetings. And most of 80% of my growth was in Ohio, which is where the state that I live in the United States. But to see what's happening with this thing is, and what you guys have done, you guys are my heroes. I have a little crush on both of you guys because first off, you're more organized than I could possibly ever be. So that's why I'm married for 25 years is I've got a gem for a wife that keeps everything organized. Otherwise I would probably be panhandling on the street. But to see you guys do that with, so quickly, you've established and grew a business. I mean, think about this. Is you are building a business that the sun never sets on, which is just, with today's technology, it's so amazing that you can do that. Yeah. So anyhow, thanks again for inviting me. It's awesome to meet all you guys and see everybody. And like we said, we got lots of great tools and systems and everything out there. So fantastic. So thank you very much. I'll be quiet now.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Yeah, but you do bring up a fantastic point though about global. I've never been, in a previous company that I was with Prachi, I think I was in maybe 2-3 countries, if that, and now we're in about 7-8, and we're just expanding in a big way because it's the simplicity of what we have here. When people wrap their heads around of where the industry is and they look at Amazon, how Amazon started. I mean, essentially, the model is similar to what Amazon did with their disruption. And there's going to be a huge disruption taking place with this company. I think Nita wants to connect. Okay, we can connect with you, Nita, one-on-one if you want afterwards. So if you sit tight, I don't know what your schedule is, and we can go over and cover your questions. Is there anyone else? Was there anything pressing? We are readily available at all times. We've done presentations at 2:30 in the morning.
Our time.
Our time. And that's what we are. We don't sleep. So we want to build this team big. We want to make sure everyone comes with us. We saw what Mr. Alton Bucks did. He created 45 millionaires. He made over $1 million a month for 10 years straight. And we love the fact that he wants to beat that record. And who wants to be one of those millionaires? You know, if you can take money off the table, what would your ideal life look like? I always like to ask that question. I mean, some people are really passionate about what they do for a living, but at the end of the day, we're doing it because we need to pay the bills. Yeah. If we can take money off the table and have time and money together, I mean, you can create a legacy, help out family, friends, foundations. That's what we want to do. We want to give, and we love the fact that that's what iBuumerang is all about, sending out goodwill and it coming back. What a philosophy. Sorry, what did you want?
No, I think that was good.
Okay, I think she's saying, oh, okay, that's what she's saying. Okay, I get you. I can talk too. Similar to mine. Okay, guys, so I'm going to hand it quickly back to Prachi so she can thank everyone for attending our launch. And again, guys, we need to speak to Nita, so we can do that. And anyone else, if you have any questions, get in touch with Prachi. We can jump back on a Zoom.
Yeah, or anyone else that invited you to the call. Yeah.
Awesome. All yours, Prachi.
Thank you, Mick, Darlene, Mike, I can't thank you enough. This is an awesome presentation and beautiful launch. I'll never forget this. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I have my very good friend from India on the line right now. She's really supportive of my business. Her family's supporting me. I mean, I couldn't have anybody better than you to explain this to everybody, to my family, my good friends, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, all of you, for coming in for my launch and supporting my business. If this is for you, great. If not, definitely, I'll send you a boomerang, and here you go, and for your vacation, and send you a selfie.
Okay. Right, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
thank you so much.
Let's see if someone else is saying something here. Congrats, great presentation. Okay, so yeah, I'll let you set that up, Prachi, with your good friend Nita. All right, and we can jump back on a call. All right.
Right. Well, thank you again, Mike, for joining us this early in the morning. You're in the same time zone as us, so.
Yeah, awesome.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, guys.
Right, thanks, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.
All right, see ya.
Bye.